Welcome to the Windy City Rundown. Think it'd be better if I played this on player. Yeah. Welcome back to another great episode of the Windy City Rundown. I am Eric Avila. I am by myself today. Jose Contreras will be in the comment section today. But welcome to another great episode of the Windy City Rundown. As always, guys, follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the good social media platforms. Make sure you guys like and share our shows on your Facebook page for all your friends and family, and also like and subscribe on our YouTube page, where we're also at the same time. I will be running the show today. There's a lot to get into. Let's start off with the main and the obvious, right? Jesus, that Super Bowl was boring. Like, oh my God. I think this week, I don't know if it, well, yes, it was boring. I can't even sugarcoat it. I'm not even going to make an excuse or an attempt to make sure, like, if it was a good Super Bowl, right? Unless if you're a Seahawks fan, that's probably the best outcome out of it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a really good game. Defensively, everybody was up to par, sort of, kind of. Offensively, it took all the offenses on both sides to, like, actually, like, just get into the game. Like, just finally get into the game. Like, Drake May and that Patriots offensive line just had a rough time. The Seattle defense was just on its game throughout the whole entire day. Great plays from the Patriots defense for sure. On the secondary, breaking up those big plays that Seattle desperately tried to break through that way to open up the game, but the running game with Kenneth Walker was working. They couldn't find an answer to that. And at the end of the day, the Seahawks ended up winning. They probably were the best team, probably the tail half of, the last 6-7 games of the season. And definitely throughout the playoffs. They didn't allow any more points than, I think it was like 14 points was the max total that they gave up throughout the whole entire playoffs, which is very impressive to say the least. But yeah, no, it was just one of those, it was one of those Super Bowls that, more 9 times, and I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, right? But I would say that it was one of those Super Bowls where it's just kind of one of those memorable ones and how boring it was. I mean, we could go back to the Patriots and the Rams a few years back, how boring that was. Unless if you don't have like a real true cheering interest. Obviously, outside of money, that's the only way that you're really invested. Like I was sort of kind of, but then I just, I was just over it after God knows when, probably like the third quarter. For sure, I was already over it. Like the game didn't provide no type of entertainment whatsoever on any type of the ball. It was just total domination from the Seattle Seahawks, and it was shown. 29-13 was the score. Last week, Jose predicted a closer game. I predicted the blowout. I just didn't see it. I couldn't find a way for the Patriots to kind of compete for this team. So, I mean, for the Super Bowl. So, congratulations to Seattle. Seattle deservedly so, won the Super Bowl. But it also begs to differ, guys. And the question does stay out there. Like, would have been different if it was the Rams, right? I think we probably had a better offensive performance. Maybe, possibly. This is just me just speaking on that aspect. Probably a boring game, but just more entertaining with Matthew Stafford out there. But also just leaves a question too for us guys, like, could the Bears had an opportunity, right? Could the Bears had, if everything went right against the Rams here in Chicago, was that a possibility for the Bears to be high in the Super Bowl this year too as well, right? Just a lot, just a lot of questions, like to even possibly think of what could have been if the Bears just like, and it's funny because John, Jose, and I, we were our lovable partners, my lovable fiance, the comadre, and John with his, I don't even want to put out his business, but you know what it is. But we were just and it was funny how John and the comadre were having that conversation about DJ Moore, about him not running the route, about him doing this, Caleb misthrowing, all that stuff, right? That was the big topic of the conversation during the whole entire game, which was more entertaining than the football game in itself. But I digress. But I like, if they would have just completed that play, or if something would have been different, or Colston Loveland was in that game, or just a little bit different to make that big play for the game not to end the way it did, we could possibly, I don't know if the Bears would have had a chance against Seattle for the NFC title game. I don't know. Maybe the magic would have ran out there. Who knows? But like, just even have that inkling of possibility that the Bears could have probably been in that position. Just the way how the Patriots played. Who knows? It probably would have been a different game because the Bears couldn't make any type of penetration to any type of offensive line or any opposing quarterbacks defensive wise. So, it could have probably been a more entertaining game. But we will never know, right? But again, congratulations to the Seahawks. Guys, if you want to join the conversation, the link is in the comment section on our YouTube, on our Facebook page, and also on our YouTube page too as well. I'm about to post it up right now. If you guys want to join us, or join us in the comment section too as well, that's another way for you guys to join the show as well. However you want. We talked about the Super Bowl. How'd you guys feel? Did you guys win any money? I feel like nobody won money unless if you were playing the squares, because like all the gambling odds out there for what we all picked never came to fruition. I know mine's didn't for sure. I had Jackson Smith and Jigba and Kenneth Walker with an anytime touchdown. I had the over. None of them hit. So if you want money, congratulations. But at the same time, unless if you play the squares, I felt like that was the only way you could have won some money on Sunday. How bad that game truly was. Back to the Bears, guys, and a lot of conversation this week. About the Chicago Bears and the stadium talk. And I think that's the big talking point, and will probably be the next big talking point, probably for the next couple of weeks too, as well, for sure, on this show and any other of podcast sports shows in Chicago too, as well. Just simply because of what it's providing, right? Just a simple fact, like where we're going to be, where are the shovels going to go down, because there now talks this week about Portage, Indiana being the opportunity. Call it Hallis. I think they called it after George Hallis for sure. I forgot what it was called. Arlington Heights and the lawmakers of Illinois. And that's another topic too, as well. Like if they're going to get it done, because it's already been a 2-year thing that we're just waiting to put shovels on the ground. But Northwest Indiana, where I'm at over here, it's open to discussion for anybody and everybody for the Chicago Bears to be like, hey, we'll pay for the stadium. Pay us throughout the time, and then it'll be yours down the future, but we will do everything that we can for you to be here in Northwest Indiana. I mean, Gary's down the street, Portage is not that far from me here. I think the Bears said that they want to just build in Hammond, and I don't think anywhere else right there by Wolf Lake. So that's closer to Jose and Johnny P for sure. But it's more convenient for the Bears. And I'm not only saying this because of travel wise, obviously, travel wise, it makes a lot more sense to me, right? Instead of driving, I think Jose and I drove like almost like 55 minutes just to get from where we're at to the stadium when we went against the Packers in the wild card game, regardless of the point. But like 55 minutes to 20 minutes for sure. It's cool. I would rather have that. Hell, I'll even apply working there. I don't give a crap. But the point of the matter is the fact that, it financially, business-wise decision make, it makes a lot more sense for the Bears to come here to Northwest Indiana because of just all the stipulations that they were giving, or they're giving the Bears to have. They're still going to own the stadium after a certain point. They're still going to get majority of the revenue for the Chicago Bears. Shovels are already just like ready to be dug on the ground for them to start building the stadium. That's it. And they're ready for it. While the lawmakers in Illinois I'm not saying they're putting their hands in the pockets and just putting it in their back pocket or just get into it later, but this is already going on 2 years where Arlington Heights, the Bears have bought the land, and nothing has happened. Nothing has even came close to shovels to the ground. Excuse me, sorry. They've tried the South. They tried downtown in the South Loop, but like on the other side of McCormick Place, where the stadium's at to build that, that's nowhere near. Right? There's a big old pot of land right over there in on the east side the southeast side where I grew up, all of that would like by the 80s, by the train tracks and the Ole Guadalupe, that general area has a lot of land for them to offer too. Hell, Mariano sign is still there, and it's been there for the last 20 years. But what I'm saying is like there's land, but it's just the lawmakers, friends of the park, everything of Illinois, the lawmakers is just making it very difficult for the Bears to even accomplish anything here in Illinois, or not here, but in Illinois. Just for them to have shovels, and now they're going into it right now. Now they're putting their, all right, they're speeding up the process because I don't think that, obviously, it doesn't make any sense for the Bears to leave Illinois. Doesn't make any sense for the Bears to leave Chicago, but if there's an opportunity for the Bears to have some type of financial gains for themselves, for the franchise to have their own stadium, then I'm all for it. Don't care where it's at. Arlington Heights, Glenview, Joliet, Lakeview, all those suburban suburbs out over there, west and north. I could care less. I would love, as long as the Bears can have financial gains, I don't care where the next stadium's at. Selfishly, I would love it to have here, and so is Jose too. Jose said he's rooting for Portage. Portage, Indiana has probably anywhere in Indiana has the best opportunity for the Bears to build a stadium, right? Let's get that straight. Portage, Gary, Hammond, Lake Station, Maryville, Cherryville, Dyer, wherever they could be. Hell, even here where I stay at, that could be Arlington Harbor is the one that Jose says, but he would love Hammond, but where? And like I said, Jose, right there, right off the lake, Wolf Lake. I think they'll just destroy that whole lot, destroy the whole thing. I know they're building new houses, but I mean, who would have thought that the Bears would actually have an opportunity to be here in Indiana for them to actually build their own stadium, right? And a stadium of their liking. And obviously the mayors, the governors, they're all for it, right? They're all for it for them to come up here to Northwest Indiana just for them to have their own stadium. I would love it. Like I said, if selfishly, I would love it because it's either A, a 10-minute drive here in Gary to Gary, B, a 25-minute drive for me from here to Portage, or B, a 20-minute drive streetwise from here to Hammond, Indiana, right there by the lake. Regardless of the fact I'm not driving 30 plus minutes to go watch the Bears game at Soldier Field. Obviously, I've only been to my second game this past January. So take that with a grain of salt, however you like it. But the fact of the matter is the opportunity is there for the Bears for financially to save $2 billion in their back pockets for building the stadium because Indiana got that covered. The fact that shovels could be on the ground as soon as early as late May, early June, right? That's another plus in the another plus in this process of building a new stadium. And see, eventually it will be their stadium, especially where they could pay it off in a future time. So I mean, everything is it just makes sense. Taxes will be cheaper, right? And obviously, I know that the players live over there by I always forget where the Bears are at, where their training facilities, and please forgive me for that. And I know almost the majority of the players live around that surrounding area. And how would they make that almost like a 45 to an hour drive from over there to over here to the stadium? I mean, it's easy. I mean, you want to make that into paradise, you could do so many things: hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants, whatever the case may be. It could be like a little small metropolitan lot. Build it however you want to build it, and obviously you build the hotels, you build the restaurants, this would just be for this time of year for the players could come here the day before and just stay there, Saturday morning and just stay there, chill around that general area. It could be all inclusive for them. And then for us, it's all inclusive 365, the concerts, the sports venues, the sports events, the wrestling events, whatever events, all those events are all positive for the Chicago Bears because it's revenue not only for the city in itself of wherever in Indiana, but also at the same time revenue that the Bears can provide for themselves to build their team for the future, however they want to build it. Money in their back pockets plus the money that they're getting for the NFL as opportunities. The Bears can be filthy rich coming out of it, and their value of the organization if and when the McCaskies do decide to sell, the value just is even higher because of the ample of opportunities of what they can get from them selling that team. Like it could be like a $10 billion to $12 billion sale for whatever next owner of the Chicago Bears will be. Like it's all positive. So to me, like it makes so much sense, not just because of me selfishly, but it makes so much sense to come over here. But obviously it's the Chicago Bears, and that's where everything the line just hasn't crossed, right? That the Bears have to be in Illinois. The Bears always wanted to be in Arlington Heights. I think that was even said from Halas himself when he was still around, alive, kicking it well, right? He wanted Arlington Heights was a prime location for him to be to build the stadium that they want. But they had were in Soldier Field. You know, the lease was up. They decided to remodel within inside Soldier Field. It looks like a toilet bowl to me, but it is what it is. That's how they built it later on in the years. And so it's just kind of like one of those situations to where, like, okay, the Bears don't own that stadium. They pay a certain percentage to the Friends of the Park, plus the percentage whatever they have to give to the city of Chicago for owning that place. It's only 8 games out of the year where they're there. And honestly, their financial gains are just like almost close to like 50 some odd percent of just them keeping the money outside of what the NFL gives them. That's going to be a 40% increase no matter where you're going to be outside of the city of Chicago, because they're going to build their own stadium. So it's just, to me, it just makes more sense to be outside of Chicago. And I get it. I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm about to get into in a second. And I get it. It's not Chicago, but let remind everybody, the Jets and the Giants are New York and they play in New Jersey. The Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas, they play in Arlington. The Rams and the Chargers don't play in Los Angeles, they play in Inglewood, right? Buffalo Bills, they don't play in Buffalo, they're in New Orchard, literally like 40 miles away from Buffalo, right? I already named you within that three of like the top 10 biggest markets in the United States where their football teams do not reside in their city / state of where they're supposed to be playing at. So it doesn't matter if the Bears are not in Chicago. As long as they have their own thing, it's all good. And even then, even if they do come to Northwest Indiana, it's the same thing. Like, it doesn't really matter. And I know the disadvantage are all the suburban people out there that go to the games. It's a lot more quicker. Now they're going to drive an extra 45 minutes to come over here, but it is what it is. Let me go to the comment section real quick because it's going there. It's blowing up. Tony says, the Bulls are causing you guys to miss too. Hey, look, Tony. Look, man, we got to make time to do whatever we can to make these shows, bro, because golly, after this Bulls team, we'll get to the Bulls a little later because, man, do I have something for you and how terrible this organization is. But you're right, Tony. You're absolutely right. Calumet Park area was also mentioned, that too, but I mean, hell, do we want to give up our Sundays at Cal Park? You know, it is what it is. Jose Goes says, honestly, at this point, honestly, at this point, let's just get a brand new state of the art, beautiful stadium where we could get in and out conveniently, 100%. And getting out of Soldier Field that day, even when we parked, Jose, we parked literally like 30 minutes walk, or like in the Millennium Park Underground parking lot. And even just getting there and just to get out was just a pain in the ass too as well. But, you know, I don't care where. I mean, I agree. I don't care where either, Jose, and I'm with you. Just build a beautiful stadium just for us to have it for 365 days. Because you and I as wrestling fans, hell, WrestleMania could be here, or SummerSlam, since now it's a 2-night event, you know, having, 90, 80, 90 plus thousand people in there watching it, just all that revenue going to the Chicago Bears and out of whatever city or state that they're going to be in. For Tony, big signs, Oh, did I freeze? Hello. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. The friendlies that we could watch, or even major competitions too, as well, throughout the year. Jose, as well. Like that's another plus right there too, as well. How many Gold Cup games or USA friendlies or Mexico friendlies or stuff like that. Like those are another opportunities too as well, where they have the revenue. It means not only for the Bears perspective as an organization, stadium wise, how much money they can get for having a dome stadium for 365. And I think one of the renderings, I want to say the renderings for Gary, it was just an outdoor. It wasn't even an indoor stadium, or didn't even have a retractable roof at that point. So I mean, whatever. I mean, however they build it, but they can actually build it their own way, how they want it, so where money could just come in 365. With events, with housings, with whatever, Airbnbs, just opportunities to be there. So you're right. I don't care where, but it needs to get done because, I mean, again, 2 weeks, we've been talking about this for 2 years. And within the next 2 weeks, like it could be either in Illinois or it could be in Indiana. The deals are sweet in Indiana for sure, 100%, because the Bears don't have to pay anything out of pocket, while in Illinois they're paying $2 billion out of pocket to build that stadium. So, I mean, however where the Bears want to go, obviously Illinois is the number one spot to be at, which is great. Which honestly it should be, but business wise, coming into Indiana, I mean, it just makes a lot more sense. Windy City Rundown here, guys, on Facebook and YouTube. I apologize. Facebook and YouTube, as always, like and share our shows on your Facebook page for all your friends and family. Like and subscribe on the YouTube page if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe there too as well. We're live every week. Normally it's on Tuesday at 7:30, but today was a little schedule conflict yesterday, so that's why I'm doing it today. And also follow us on all our social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those good spots. Just make sure you guys follow us right then and there. But yeah, we're talking about the stadium. Where do you guys want the stadium? Where would be more convenient? Where it makes more sense? We know it makes more sense in Illinois, but selfishly, do you guys want it up here in Northwest Indiana for all my folks that live in this general area on the east side and, you know, the other southern suburbs too? Is where? Let us know. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel? Where the stadium should be? Are you tired of it? Because quite frankly, I mean, we're going to talk about this one more week, because next week the episode's either going to be we're in Indiana or we're staying in Illinois and Arlington Heights. I mean, that's already going to be the positive of it. And what do you want? How big do you want the stadium? Will probably be the topic for next week. Keeping it with the Bears, guys. Real quick, keeping with the Chicago Bears. I really want to know how you guys feel. If you guys haven't seen the odds for the winners for next year's Super Bowl, and honestly, however you feel about this list, I personally kind of feels like it's a little bit disrespectful for the Chicago Bears, simply because, one, I'm biased and I'm a Bears fan, but two, just seeing the teams that were just above the Bears for the odds of winning the Super Bowl. Now, I went on one of my gambling sites. Caesar on the comment section says, "Give me Gary, Indiana." Me too, Caesar. Me too, bro. I'm like 10 minutes away from Gary. The Hard Rock Casino is literally like 10 minutes from my house, man. I can drive an extra 5-10 minutes to where deep into Gary, right next to Michael Jackson's house or the Jackson's house, and I'm fine there, bro. Like, I am good. It's literally right down the block for me. I would love it for it to be in Gary, Indiana. Like I said, I would apply to work there, every home game. Huevito, 100%. But that's just me personally, selfishly. Personally, I really don't care. As long as the Bears own that stadium, I'm cool with it. But yeah, back to the question. Where do you guys feel how the Bears rank amongst the favorites to win the Super Bowl? Now, I went on my gambling site. I don't know where you guys put your gambling site. I know every gambling site is different, where the odds and everything like that. But the one that I go on my weekly, let me say weekly, excuse me, weekly gambling sites, the Bears are tied for 15th. Now, you could say 15th, like there's really 14 teams better than the Bears. Generally, me thinking about it, like you're actually deep diving it, I want to say there's like 8, maybe 9 teams better than the Chicago Bears at this point, today only. But let me give you down the list. Obviously, number one is Seattle Seahawks, because they just won. They got that Super Bowl, not really hangover, but that Super Bowl bump. Joking on that line, 100%. The Rams are in second. For next year's to win the Super Bowl odds, they're second. Then it goes Bills, Patriots, Ravens. I'm okay with those. I mean, obviously those are probably the top ones. The Seahawks, again, get that Super Bowl bump. The Patriots just being there, I'm okay with that too as well. Obviously, with the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and the Bills with Josh Allen, I'm okay with that too. Have no issue. Eagles, Chiefs, Packers, Lions, Chargers. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting for me, just for me only, right? Because the Eagles, I feel like they're about to blow that team up by next year. I don't think they have those odds, but I get where they're coming from with the Eagles being the Super Bowl champions last year or 2 years ago now. Still having that, I guess, that talented team on the defensive side of the ball. I get that part, but I just don't know about the Eagles so far. The Chiefs, they're going to have a year without Patrick Mahomes, or half the season without Patrick Mahomes. I don't see them being that better than the Chicago Bears not yet. I understand they still have Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy is now the new offensive coordinator, but really he already knows the system, so it really is, there's no really, you know, downgrade on that aspect, or there's no big adjustment on that aspect because he could just do whatever Andy Reid says. Plus, he's the play caller anyway, so it really doesn't really matter at that point. But I mean, I don't without Patrick Mahomes, the offensive struggle that the Chiefs had this past season, Travis Kelce, whether if he's going to stay or not for one more year, or he's going to retire, that's another one. Really no wide receiver help on that aspect. Offensive line was semi-sketchy this year. So, I mean, there's a lot. For the Chiefs to be, at 7, I question that, right? The Packers and the Lions, I question that simply because, yes, Michael Parsons tore his ACL. The same thing with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs about the Packers. Not saying that Patrick Mahomes and Michael Parsons are the same person, but what I'm saying is like they went all out for Michael Parsons to be that linchpin of that defense. And he's also going to miss, I don't know. I mean, he'll probably come back sooner than Patrick. My guess, my belief, right? But I still think, can that defense hold up without Michael Parsons? You see that even though the Bears struggled with the Packers defense, in the last 2 games without Michael Parsons, yet they still found ways to kind of go down the field. There was no implement pressure on Caleb Williams whatsoever throughout the whole entire game. The escapability of Caleb Williams also helped that Bears lot too as well. But I just don't see it. I mean, do you even trust Jordan Love? I mean, he basically choked away the third and fourth quarter in the playoff game against us. And it felt like it was just a different player on top of that, right? Caesar goes, says Chiefs won't be back for 2 years. Eagle got at least 2 years. Lions wishy-washy. 100%. I agree with that one because the Lions, you could tell the Lions struggled this year without Ben Johnson and the play calling that they have. Maybe it'll be different this year. It just felt like they lost a lot, not only just on the offensive side, but the defensive side too as well. Like there was just a lot that was missing for the Detroit Lions. It wasn't the same. Dan Campbell didn't feel like he had the team behind him, but that team is still dangerous at the end of the day. Given another year in the system too as well. Like everybody's going to come back. Maybe, who knows? Is that window still open for the Lions? Right? That window, is it how deep or how quickly did it shut to where the level's at? So that's another thing. Chargers to me are interesting. I'm not saying that the Chargers are better than the Bears, but the Chargers do provide something different than the other 3 teams ahead of them. Other four teams ahead of the Chargers at 10. I think Mike McDaniels being the offensive coordinator for Justin Herbert, I think that's crazy dangerous. I think that defense, another year of healthy defense that way too as well. Drafting another defensive lineman can help them immensely. Offensive line, I mean, they're going to get healthy. They're probably even going to draft some offense or go offensive line hunting this offseason too as well. Give them one more weapon for Justin Herbert, and then we'll have something cooking in Los Angeles. I do believe on the Chargers side. I do believe that. But that Mike McDaniel hire as offensive coordinator where he could have been head coach somewhere, that is so scary. To me, that's scary. I would put them slightly above the Bears, but I would not put the Eagles, nor the Chiefs, nor the Packers, nor the Lions above the Bears right now. I won't put the 49ers above the Bears right now, right? I think there's a lot of question marks for the 49ers. You saw how they bounced out. All the injuries. Everybody's getting old. That team is getting old and getting old pretty quick on both sides of the ball, offense and defense side of the ball. So I really don't have that much faith and or trust with the 49ers above the Bears, but I wouldn't trust the 49ers above them right now. The Broncos, okay, you could kind of see what the Broncos are doing with Bo Nix. Unfortunately, he broke his ankle. I mean, that could have been the Broncos right there. The Broncos could have probably been, in the Super Bowl if a healthy Bo Nix was playing that game against the Patriots in the AFC title game. I believe so. It would have been a completely different game, but I do believe that, that game could have been different with a Bo Nix. But do I trust the Broncos a little bit more? Who knows? I mean, I feel the Broncos and the Bears are somewhat even. Somewhat. Give the edge to the Broncos, though. Respectfully, I'll give the edge to the Broncos. But I feel like the Bears and the Broncos are somewhat even. But in this aspect, I'll give the edge to the Broncos. Ooh, the Texans to me kind of pissed me off a little bit because I saw how they bowed out in the playoffs. I saw how they played the last couple games of the season. I just don't see it. CJ Stroud needs help offensively on the offensive line of the ball, and he needs help tremendous. He needs everybody. He needs a whole new offensive line because that offensive line did not protect CJ Stroud. And maybe, just maybe, with Tank Dell coming back next season probably helps him out a little bit. Nico Collins, they've doubled him a lot. So you give CJ Stroud a healthy offensive line, maybe you got something. You probably might have something. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't put the Texans right now, today, above the Bears. So that's 7 teams that I have. Well, yeah, wait. Eagles, Chiefs, Packers, Lions, 49ers, Texans, 6. I might as well add 7 with the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars, they didn't convince me well enough to feel like they're better than the Bears right now. I get it, with the new head coach, same thing, head coach bump that the Bears got to as well. With Cohen, I get that 100%, but I feel like it's still more of an incomplete for the Jaguars right now at the moment. That's just me personally, but we'll go from there. And then obviously, what kind of Bengals team? This Bengals team, if everybody's healthy, scary. Definitely put the Bengals above the Bears. But until I see that myself, until I personally see that the Cincinnati are healthy, the Cincinnati Bengals above the Bears, no problems, no questions, nothing. No problems, nothing to ask. No. Bengals will probably be up there with the Ravens, with the Bills, and being on the top team to win it. But until I see them healthy wise, I don't see the Bengals being there or being above the Bears, and that's where the Bears come in. Bears come in 16th and winning, or the 16th best odds in winning the Super Bowl for next year. And my personal rankings, I think they're probably like 8th or 9th. I think that's probably a good way to put it, because definitely the first 5: Seahawks, Rams, Bills, Patriots, Ravens. Chargers I'll put above, and the Broncos will put above. Yeah, 8th. I think the Bears, to me personally, have the 8th best odds in winning the Super Bowl for next year. As long as they get a pass rusher, a little bit better in the linebacking crew, secondary help, and maybe a little bit of depth in the offensive line, then we have something cooking. Then we're cooking with gas. We're cooking with oil here. And I'm okay with that. I'll be fine with that. If the Bears do what they need to do right in drafting or in getting players to make a difference on both sides of the ball, hey, I'm down. I'm cool with it. But that's just me. I don't think the Eagles, the Chiefs, Packers, Lions, 49ers, Texans, and the Jaguars are better than the Bears right now. I put my Bears blinders on or off, whatever there is, but personally, that's how I see it. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. As always, make sure you like and share our show on your face. If you're watching on Facebook, share the show on your Facebook page for your friends and family. If you're watching it on YouTube, like and subscribe on our YouTube page too as well. And make sure you join us. Guys, hit the bell on both pages, on YouTube and on Facebook, to get notified when our shows are live every Tuesday, 7:30. Schedule change for this week. We'll be back on normal schedule programming next week on YouTube and on Facebook Tuesday at 7:30. Guys, I'm sorry. I really need to do this just to get off my chest real quick. But yes, I think it's time. It's time. Let me get a swig of water. It's time. I think it's time. It's time for all of this to go. It's time for AK to go. It's time for Mark Evans to go. It's time for the Reinsdorfs to go. Like, it's time, because I can't go on another 5-6 years of waiting for this team to finally turn around, for this team to finally be good, for this team to be something at this point. I can't do it any more longer, guys. And it's, yes, you're married to your team through thick and thin, right? But it's been very, very thin for the last 20 plus 25, 26 years for the Chicago Bulls and this organization ever since Jordan left, right? We only had that glimpse of 2-3 years of Derrick Rose, and then whatever bullshit that came right afterwards with Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, Rondo, and everybody else, and the recent bullshit that we got from DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Vucevic, all that, like the recent regime that just was here. Like, I just can't. I truly need consistent basketball played a good, consistent basketball be playing here in Chicago. Like, I just need it, guys, because this is just, it's pathetic. It is pathetic that we've given up. And look, you guys know me. If you guys been watching us from JCA to Windy City Rundown, you guys know how I personally felt about Zach LaVine. I really thought Zach LaVine was trash, and lo and behold, I was right. I told you guys that Zach LaVine the Bulls didn't really need to give Zach LaVine that contract, but y'all wanted loyalty and y'all wanted this. That's fine. Y'all got it. Y'all wanted it. Y'all had it. And y'all were wrong. And I was just looking at you guys like, I don't know what you guys see in him. I never knew what you guys saw in him. He wasn't a good team basketball player. It was shown. He's no longer here, right? But I will say this, though. In the NBA, a good organization finds multiple ways, right, to get first-round picks. First-round picks in the NBA is given out like candy on Halloween. First round picks are given like they're nothing, simply because you can do so many things with your first round picks. You could lottery protect them. You could top 10 protect them, or top 15 protect them, or you could protect them from the top 10 or whatever. Like, you could protect your top 10, your first round draft picks. You could protect them like anything, right? The Bulls just don't find ways to do that, right? But even then, so you still find ways to get first-round draft picks from NBA teams because they're giving it away like candy. But for somehow, some way, this Bulls organization just gets second-round picks for their players, or no picks at all. You had Alex Caruso, Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball. Players that has some type of name and qualities in the NBA. As long as you have a name, you have value. As long as that contract makes sense, right? But the Bulls decide to keep the players for a year or two too long, and now this is what we get. Guys, I have the list right here of the amount of second-round draft picks and what years that the Bulls are going to have these draft picks. It starts, obviously, this year, and it ends in 2032. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 second-round draft picks. Who has 13 second-round draft picks for the next 6 years? What organization would have 13 second-round draft picks? Second-round draft picks that 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 does not hit, right? You have your rarities. For example, the Joker was a second-round pick who's an MVP, right? But those are rarities in the NBA. The NBA draft quality, or the NBA quality that gets drafted, is always within the top 10, and then you have your anomalies after that. You have your rarities after that, like Giannis in Milwaukee on 15th or 16th, right? Like I just mentioned, the Joker in 40-something on the second-round pick. You have those every so often, but normally you hit within the first 7 picks, depending how deep and how good that college class is. And for me, for this to see 13 second-round draft picks coming to the Chicago Bulls, who in the right mind has that as your GM? Oh, the Bulls do, because Jerry Reinsdorf likes the loyalty. Jerry Reinsdorf likes the yes man and doesn't really care about that. Guys, this upcoming draft in 2026 is the only draft where we have 2 first-round draft picks, which is us in Portland, and 2 second-round draft picks. We have 4 draft picks this year. And the Portland one is lottery protected. And then you win so many games before doing your trades that you can't even possibly even get into the top 10 because of the percentage points that are given to the people that do not make the playoffs. So at the end of the fucking day, you win out to be out of the top 5, and you also have not them, and you can lose so many games and still not even be in the top 10. And then on top of that, the second-round pick that you have, the first-round pick that you have is lottery protected. So there's a high possibility that we might have 2 picks in the top 20, and it's not even going to be within the top 10. And Jose is right. The Bulls are a joke. The Bulls are 100% a joke, from the very, very top of the owner all the way to the last basketball player that we have at the end of the bench. And it's unfortunate because this is not what Billy Donovan came here to Chicago for. It really wasn't. And now look at us. 14 second-round draft picks that we have for the next 6 years. 6 years we have 14 second-round draft picks. And like we won't hit more than 2 second-round draft picks until 2029. 2029 is when we start having our multiple draft picks in the second round. That is crazy to me, guys. Like, if you guys can read my board, it says, where can I apply to be the Bulls GM? Like, that's literally where I feel like. Because if I can see this, of a nobody doing this podcast can see the shit that's going on in the Chicago Bulls on that court and the organization. If I can see it, I can't see why they can. But I know why, because they need to help their jobs. They need to save their job. They need to talk positive about their teams. But at the end of the day, we all see it's crap. It's a load of crap at the end of the day. And you're absolutely right, Jose. The Bulls are a joke. I said this only makes sense if they clean house in the offseason and pay for stars. But at the end of the day, Jose, that still wouldn't help the fact that wouldn't even help the Bulls today. It wouldn't. Paying for stars for what? What stars is out there? Giannis is good. Like, no. Like, you're going to pay a 32, 33-year-old player who's literally having kind of an injury-prone season this year, who's been the backbone of the Bucks and played almost every single game for the last, what? How long he's been in the league? 10 years, 11 years? You're going to pay for that? Are you going to go out of your way and get Ja Morant? Are you going to go, like, are players that make sense? Zion? Like, are those kind of, like, altering players that can alter your organization in that way and find a way to do that? On top of that, are the Bulls willing to give up that type of money? Because in the NBA, there's a salary cap. So you can only afford a star and a half, or a superstar and a half a star after that, you know? But who's available to make that difference? Exactly. And it's just mind-boggling that even if you're trying to build this the right way through the draft, it's still not the right way because you don't have multiple first-round picks. Like, even though last year, 2 years ago, when they traded away Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey shows that he could play. But what I kept saying, the one team that has multiple first-round picks for the next 25 years, and I know I was being facetious and I know I was just kidding around, but that's how many first-round picks do they have. A team that can just give out first-round draft picks because they have an abundance in that organization. You couldn't get one? Like, you couldn't get not one first-round draft pick for Alex Caruso on a team that has multiple first-round draft picks for the next 20 years? And yes, Josh Giddey is good. He's proven it a little bit here for the Bulls, and the time that he's been playing, he's been proven that he's a very good player. But you couldn't have done that. You couldn't have done that. You could have not gotten one. And I know it was just straight up player, but like, come on, guys. Like, that's, to me right there, I already knew that this GM doesn't know what he's doing. And that was my red flag and my give up point. Because it just showed that he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know when to call it quits. He held on for these players for so long because he thought he had an opportunity to make it to the play-in game and just do whatever you can in the playoffs. And it shows. And look where we're at now. Back to square one. Pissed, upset, mad because their GM doesn't know what he's doing. But yeah, you guys were okay with just a straight up Alex Caruso and Josh Giddey. Okay. That's fine. Whenever you start listening to Eric about the Chicago Bulls and how they run their organization, then you'll probably understand it a little bit more that this organization is really not shit. But until you guys have that hope and that optimism that the Chicago Bulls can turn around, do this and do that, go right ahead. Be disappointed year in and year out if you want to be. I'm not. I could care less. Hell, I might next year. I just might bring up the my sports mulligan and probably bring that back again for the podcast sake. Because I'm fed up. I'm fed up with this organization. I am fed up talking about the Chicago Bulls and how joke they have been for 26 years, for the last 26 years. And within the last 26 years, they've only been good for 4, maybe 5. That's it. Out of the last 26 years, they've probably been good or somewhat relevant for 5 years, for 5 of them. That's not good. OKC surpassed you. The Magic passed you. Milwaukee passed you. Like, all these teams that were garbage when we were growing up watching playing, they all passed you. The Pistons, who were dog shit for the last 3 years, has surpassed you. Cleveland has surpassed you after LeBron left. Like, all the teams that are in the bottom dwelling of the NBA has all surpassed you, and by miles. Because you cannot give, or you do not know how to A, draft players, B, develop players. C, trade players away when the time's coming up. And D, getting the right players into this organization. Jose says, Simmons, Sexton, Collins, and Ivy are all free agent after the season, with Ivy being the only one being restricted. And they traded for them. I don't know what to tell you. But that's your Chicago Bulls, Jose. And that's your Chicago Bulls, everybody out there who are Bulls fans. That's your team. That tells me they might let them walk and free up space. Cool. For who? For who? For what aging superstar on a team? For what superstar is out there that is 26 and younger? I'll let you know. And you know what? That might be a talking conversation for next week's podcast. You know, all that cap space for what superstar that's come here, to what washed up superstar, or for what? I don't know. I still don't know. Jose said that leads me to believe that they might build through free agency. Yeah, and that's also a quicker way to rebuild again. Because then you have that opportunity, Jose, to where you have to win that title within that time frame. And then if it doesn't work in the first or the second year, then what? After that, they have no more value to trade process away. Or they can't find the right coach to mesh with these players, given that the playing style that they want to whatever player that they have. Guys, the free agency is not for you to build the team the right way. Free agency is just to help you build whatever you already have built with your draft picks that you've been building for the last couple years. And I get it. You could plug in. You could work on free agency as much as you can, and it can probably give you that pop-up championship for that one season. Then after that, you have to start all over again, which is fine. And if that's what you guys want, then that's cool. Then you know what? I will eat my words when they're actually pretty good and they make that title run. If they make that title run, make it to the NBA Finals. But then after that, what? Then what? How else do you build on top of that? Right? Because money gets expensive. The salary cap either shrinks or expands, whatever. And what can you do with it? Who do you have to let go? And that's fine. It's great. You could build through free agency. It is a quick Band-Aid fix. It is a quick put multiple Band-Aids on cement that's been cracked, broken, and about to collapse, and the building's about to collapse. And that is fine. That is great. We'll be excited for a season or two. But then what? How's the future looking like? With all these second-round picks, do you honestly think you're going to move up in whatever draft? Then you have to believe in this GM, and you have to believe in whoever comes in. Then you have to believe in them to build that team or to develop that player for said team. And right now, the Bulls don't give me any confidence, especially if Reinsdorf is up there running that shit. Until he leaves, I don't believe that the Bulls can get this right via draft or via free agency. None. He says he doesn't agree with that. He says after that, we'll be right back to where we are this year. I think he agrees with everything. It's a joke. Free agency is to bring he's literally just saying everything that I just said in the comment section. Yeah, 100% Jose, because again, we could be happy for a year or two. And then we're right back to where we're at. We're right back to square. We're literally right here where I'm at right now. Disappointed, fed up, tired, because we can't develop players or bring the next crop of talent into this thing. You know, he said if we can't build a legitimate team to win a championship, then we're right back to being mid. Not even mid. I mean, we're already mid right now. We're in basketball hell. We've been in basketball hell since 2014, 2015. We've been in basketball hell. We've been in the middle every single year from 2015. From the moment that we said, to the moment when Garden Peck said we're going to get younger and athletic, and we got Wade and Rondo. And then we've just been in basketball hell ever since. Because we were desperate that we still had Derrick Rose on the team. A Derrick Rose that had an ACL injury, or ACL surgery, and MCL surgery. A Derrick Rose that wasn't the same Derrick Rose going to the rim, playing above the rim. We didn't have that. We had a Jimmy Butler who got better without Derrick Rose, who got better playing without Derek, who became the man. And once he came back, now they started fighting like, hey, it's my team. No, it's my team because I'm project. Then we started the interim fighting. Then we got a very old Paul Gasol to help you win a championship or help you get there, and it didn't get there. Then you let Derrick Rose go, and you got Jimmy Butler. Then you brought in Wade and Rondo, and you got even older. And then you let everybody go. You let Jimmy Butler go for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and marketing. And now all three of them are gone. And then you go on and you try to build with Zach LaVine, and Zach LaVine wasn't the guy, but you still give him the money. And then you bring in Vooch, you bring in DeMar DeRozan, you bring in Lonzo Ball. You try to do that free agency move once again. And then it was all happy trails from then on until December when Lonzo Ball went down, and it went downhill from there. It's a constant story. It's the Bulls story ever since Jordan left. Like, they can't get shit done right here in Chicago, or at least with the Bulls. They can't get shit done. It's the same repetitive story year in and year out. Year in and year out. Nothing's different with the Chicago Bulls. And then here we are again with 14 second-round picks. Second, not first, second. This is not the NFL where you have 7-round picks. This is, you legitimately only get 60-some-odd picks or 40-some-odd picks in the NBA. And only the first 7 of them are really good. After that, it's just a crapshoot. Great job. Great job, Chicago Bulls. Great job, AK. Round of applause. Good job for being a GM and having that title for your name next to it. Good job. I love it. I love it. Fucking joke. Bulls are a joke. The Bulls are a damn joke. Well, that was the Windy City Rundown, guys. As always, make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you guys like and share our shows on your Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook. Always join us on the comment section like Tony and Jose. Also, if you're on your YouTube, like and subscribe there too as well. You can always leave a comment section there too as well. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, and always hit that bell on your Facebook and on YouTube to get notified when our shows are live. Normally it's Tuesday at 7:30. We'll be back to our normal scheduled programming next week. We just made a little slight changes this week, but who knows? Next week, again, we'll go down the list of free agents for the Chicago Bulls, see if it's worth it or not. We're going to see if the Bears are going to be in Illinois or in Indiana. Pitchers and catchers report for the Chicago Cubs and the White Sox. Jose and I will go over and under on what kind of wins or how many wins both the Sox and the Cubs will have for next week. And then whatever sports news happen that's on the emergency, we will keep you guys posted and talk about that. For Eric Avila, this is Windy City Rundown. We will see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys for hopping on, joining us. And as always, oh, wait, Jose's not even here, so I can't even say, Jose, hit that outro. So, Eric, hit that outro. Jose says the 2027 free agency class, though. We'll take a look at that next week. We're going to go down for that next week. We'll see what we got. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap.
Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm not.
Real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.